back to the latest episode of Film in Minnesota. I am Rahana Power.
I'm Alan Tracy.
And this week we are talking about one of my favorite themes, genres, and holidays. Just kidding. We're talking Halloween and thrillers and scary movies and things that make me feel like a 4-year-old because then I can't sleep at night. And we're doing this for you, and I'm very excited about it. Alan definitely has more expertise in this realm. A lot of my film knowledge when it comes to the Halloween-like movies or scary movies is basically going to be in the realm of what could I watch when I was younger. Versus like anything new. It's all pretty foreign for me, but we're going to do our best.
Yes. Did you happen to catch who the top 5 were in the first weekend of October here, Rahana?
I did. Well, first and foremost, as it should be, is Tenet. Which, again, I'm just going to keep saying it until everybody does it, because looking at these numbers, I don't think a single one of you have listened to me, which, I mean, is understandable. But Tenet is amazing, mind-blowing, very confusing. Probably have to see it a couple times. I still need to see it again, too. Be safe when you do it, obviously, but, it's, oh my God, it's so, so good. It's Christopher Nolan blowing everyone's mind as he does. And then right after that is one of my all-time favorite Halloween movies, Hocus Pocus.
What?
I know! I love it.
It's number 2?
It's number 2, which is kind of bonkers to me. But at the same time, I can kind of understand that, because I feel like the people... So this movie came out in 1993. And I feel like a lot of the adults, people our age, that are going to go see it again are probably either, having that nostalgia, wanting to check it out again, see it on the big screen and really remember that experience now. Or they might have kids that they're trying to, introduce to it. Which is so cool. The idea of passing along that awesome, fun feeling for Halloween when, kids likely aren't going to be able to go trick-or-treating or do all the things that they're used to doing. So this is kind of something fun to bring into their lives. I think it's awesome that it was re-released. I love this movie.
Yeah.
And I love that it did so well, although it makes me curious, how it did when it initially came out.
Yeah.
Was it also this big thing that it is now, or is that one of those films that it just gradually gets a cult following and becomes what it is 20 years later, 30 years later? Oh God, I'm so old. 30 years later.
Well, good question, Rahana. Today on Movie Decade Battle.
Woo!
We do have, well, since it did come out in 93, like you said, I have chosen to go 1993 versus 1983. Yeah, and I know you're thrilled about that. Okay. No, I'm very curious about this. I'm a 90s girl through and through, and I think my the amount of time it took me to watch E.T. With all of the pressure to do so, and then my review of it, I think, can indicate how familiar I am with the 80s. So this will be interesting. I'm very curious about this. Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. So, we will start with 1983. Number 10 was Staying Alive.
Oh.
Oh, you've heard of that?
I have. Of course I have.
And then
Come on.
1993, it was The Pelican Brief.
Who was in that? Was Denzel Washington in that?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the poster.
Yes, I know.
That's all.
That's me too.
That's it.
I remember them looking at a computer.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Shit.
It's about a briefcase.
That's all I think
right?
about.
Yeah. You just like picture pelicans everywhere.
Yeah.
It's basically the movie Birds, but with Denzel. Denzel beats the Birds. Okay. I'm going to have to go with Staying Alive.
Oh.
I mean, only because I legitimately don't know a single thing about the Pelican Brief other than Denzel Washington. Don't get me wrong, that's almost a reason in itself to pick the movie.
And Julia Roberts, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Julia Roberts. See, 2 reasons I might switch my choice now.
No, that's all right. I mean, you haven't seen it yet, so that's fair.
But yeah, so I'm going with Staying Alive, but only because. Yeah, only because.
Yeah.
What about you?
Ooh, this time you got me. I have not seen Staying Alive.
Really?
So, yeah, I guess that kills that notion of, I've seen the 80s and you haven't type of thing.
Yeah, what the heck?
But apparently the Pelican Brief obviously is adapted from a John Grisham novel. Mm-hmm. So another adapted film. There you go.
Which is pretty dope.
So I will go with the Pelican Brief. So.
All right. So we're 1-1.
Oh, okay. So that's basically nothing. We're still at 0 because I'm not keeping track of this. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I will try.
Okay.
Let me see.
I'm trying to go through
like
the
it's
list.
difficult.
Yeah.
Like I'm challenging myself here.
Number 9 in 1983 was Scarface.
Okay.
And number 9 in 1993 was Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. And Denzel again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Philadelphia. I have not seen Scarface, and that's fine. And I know what it is, and I know how big it is, and I know, it's about an actual, like, I know. Okay, I get it. And
Right.
I know the cast, and I know how amazing it is, but fucking Philadelphia, come on. Like, that movie, I was just thinking about this movie like a month ago, and I was like, God, I really want to rewatch that. Like, it's such a powerful and moving film. Oh God, and the cat, like Denzel and Tom Hanks, just that movie makes me cry. Yeah, Philadelphia, every single time.
Yeah, and we know you like The Godfather, so I mean, you're no stranger to
Exactly.
crime dramas. So
Yeah.
this one's tough for me. I do like both.
It's tough, man. You got to make the right choice.
Take a look at this. Well, I'm gonna have to go with Scarface.
We are just on opposite sides of the aisle today.
Yeah, right now 0-0, nullified everything. We're just at odds end.
All right, I'm keeping track
Okay.
now, so we're all set.
So number 8 in 1983 was Sudden Impact.
In 1983.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what that
Sudden Impact.
is. Does that have like?
Clint Eastwood.
Oh nope, was not
what
about
this is.
to. Yeah, I was about to be way off. For some reason I was thinking it had. It was like the Michael Douglas Sharon Stone movie. What is that? I feel like we just talked about that last time.
Oh,
I'm so.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah.
I went. Yeah, no.
Well, Sudden Impact is Clint Eastwood.
Oh, it's a
It
Dirty
says
Harry
here-
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's the other one?
Number 8 in 93 is Sleepless in Seattle.
I mean, what are we doing here? Like, come on. I mean, Clint Eastwood's great and all. Like, I get it. He's a classic, whatever. But
Yeah.
come on. It's Sleepless in Seattle,
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, I used to watch Sleepless in Seattle as a kid. I have not seen Sudden Impact. It looks intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Sleepless in Seattle for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
Finally. Number 7, 1983 is Octopussy. This is James Bond
James
film.
Bond. Okay.
And 1993 is number 7, Cliffhanger with...
Cliffhanger.
Oh. Yeah, this is with Stallone.
Oh, come on, man. Sorry, that was an overreaction. Stallone, it's fine.
Yeah. What? What's this?
I'm not...
You don't like Sylvester
he's-
Stallone?
Like, he's fine.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, like, I mean, he is what it is. Like, I've seen Rocky 1.
Uh-huh.
It was good. I don't need to see the rest, because, it's fine. I do think he's really good in Creed. 1 and 2. Like, I think he does really well in that. He, and I will admit to enjoying, oh God, what are the names of those fucking movies? With all of the guys, and they're just super over the top.
Expendables.
Yeah, where it's very over the top. Yeah. They're entertaining. I will give them that.
Uh-huh.
Those are very entertaining movies. Outside
80s
of
nostalgia,
that,
basically.
yeah, like outside of that, no thank you. So, I don't even remember the first... Oh, the James Bond movie? I've not seen either of these. I don't care. I'll go with James Bond, but I don't... Who's James Bond at that point?
Let me check here.
I think
this is
that's...
the 80s.
I mean, it doesn't, really matter, because it's going to win anyway for me, but Roger Moore. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
That can win. I don't care. Whatever.
I will go with Octopussy also.
Okay.
I mean, James Bond, come on,
Yeah.
Cliffhanger, I remember it being a pretty big deal that year, just because Stallone was making blockbuster hits left and right in the 90s. So after his kind of trial by fire with Rocky and such forth,
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6.
Number 6.
1983 was War Games. I believe that was what's his name?
Matthew Broderick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And 1993, number 6, Indecent Proposal. Ooh.
That was a good movie. I mean, it was messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's really messed up. But,
yeah, it makes you question a lot of things.
It does.
Right? Like, what's your number?
Yeah. But, I mean, it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go with Indecent Proposal. Mostly because I have not seen War Games. But yeah.
It's all right. But I too have to go with Indecent Proposal. I think when it comes to relationships, that's an interesting discussion to have with your significant other about stuff like that. Like,
I think that's a dangerous discussion to have. Honestly.
Well, I mean,
like,
it's a good discussion because it's like, well, who are you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and with that, I mean, I understand you need money, but look what money got you.
Exactly.
Kind of thing,
yeah.
So, interesting. On to number 5. 1983 was Jaws 3D. And 93 it was The Firm.
The Firm.
Tom Cruise. Early Tom Cruise.
I don't know that I've seen that. I don't.
I believe it's another Grisham novel. Let me check.
Holly Hunter, Ed Harris, Gene Hackman. I mean, I don't. It is,
Yep,
yeah.
it's
The other
another
being the
Grisham.
Pelican Brief, yeah. I have not seen this. I don't think. Yeah,
I don't remember Jaws 3D.
I have not seen either of these. But
in my experience, I will say that I would probably have liked The Firm more than Jaws 3D. So I'm gonna go with that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I have to agree. The Firm.
Yeah.
So I think the 90s is
It's winning.
rolling up their sleeves
Yep,
here.
it's
Yep.
up 8-4 right now.
I did like The Firm. I liked Grisham, like novel type, evil corporation conspiracy theory stuff like that. That's that catches my interest. Let's see. Number 4 in 1983 was Trading Places.
Trading Places.
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked
It is. Okay.
It's really good. Number 4 in 1993 was Schindler's List.
Okay.
Yow. So you have like a lighthearted comedy and then this super dramatic black and
Yes.
white film.
Those are very different.
I feel like the list from the 90s so far has been super serious. And the 80s has been like, eh.
I feel like that's that makes sense though. Like I think like the 80s were very, I mean like even if you think about like,
Much more laid
yeah,
back.
like just a lot of the films that I think about from the 80s are just a lot more like fun and silly and goofy and like whatever. I mean, you've got like Bill Murray and Chris Farley and like all these all these things like coming up. Maybe not Chris Farley, who's probably 90s, but you know what I mean? Like and like
Yeah.
Ghostbusters and things like that. But then you get into the 90s and it starts like the drama starts becoming really popular.
This is a tough one.
It is a tough one. I mean, you're literally picking drama, history over, comedy. I feel like Schindler's List was more, I don't want to say impactful, because they're impactful in two totally different ways. But you know what I mean? Like, I just think it was. I tend to be drawn more to like heavy movies. It's a problem. But yeah, I would.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do.
I would probably say that. Schindler's List.
Yeah, I see. I would have to say Trading Places because I'd rather watch that over and over.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
That's a general argument, but I do think Schindler's List is more important as a film, like you said, with like history and
Yeah.
just capturing that side of humanity, really.
Right.
But I will have to go Trading Places because I do love comedy.
Yeah.
So even though I make like dramas for a living, it's just
No, for sure.
yeah. Maybe my life will become a comedy later, tragedy plus time. So that's number 4.
Okay.
We're getting into some good
Yeah.
ones, but first number 3. 1983 was Flashdance.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah. Showing some leg.
Yeah.
And then number 3, The Fugitive.
Oh.
You see what I mean? These are like,
Yes.
let's dance around. No, let's run
Harrison
away.
Ford.
Like-
I have to go with The Fugitive. I mean, Harrison, I love Harrison Ford. And Tommy Lee Jones. Back,
Yes.
like, when he was in, like, all of the things. Like,
I want a 5-mile radius. around-
I really enjoyed that movie at a time when those kinds of movies weren't my thing. So I feel like I'm more drawn to that. Flashdance, I've seen like parts of it intermittently. I've never watched the whole thing. I'm not super drawn to it. Which honestly surprises me, but yeah, I'm going Fugitive. Right. I love Harrison Ford. He's Han Solo. How can you pass that up? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, there we go again. Han Solo.
I like. You can't say no to that.
Well, let's see. Flashdance says here a Pittsburgh woman with 2 jobs as a welder and an exotic dancer wants to get into ballet school.
Yeah.
It's intriguing. I should put it on my watch list wherever it may be streaming. But yes, The Fugitive has my
Yeah,
pick.
man.
Dr. Kimball, I presume. No.
I like it.
Dr. Kimball, or whatever that one guy. You know. Okay, let's see. 1983. And number 2, Terms of Endearment.
Hold on, let me look this up really quick to make sure that I'm thinking of the right
Yeah.
movie. Because I get this movie. Okay, yep. Deborah Winger, Shirley MacLaine, Jack Nicholson. Danny DeVito, Jeff Daniels, John Lithgow. What? It just goes on and on. Okay, I obviously need to rewatch this because I don't remember those people being in it. I get
Yeah.
this one confused with, the movie with Sally Fields and Julia Roberts. And I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I get those two confused all the time. This is a good movie. I've only seen it once. I remember enjoying it. I feel like this is one of those movies that, like, it's a stereotypical, like, women are going to watch it and cry a lot thing. I think the daughter dies. I don't really remember. It's been a long time. Continue. What was 93? I just talked a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this. I didn't say 93 yet. Terms of Endearment, number 2. 1993, number 2 was Mrs. Doubtfire.
I mean, come on, like, is that a question?
I think we went over this last time with the, what was it? Good Morning Vietnam.
Yes. Yeah, like you cannot beat Robin Williams at what he does. Or did.
Yeah. And now we're in a new decade for his movie because that was in
Yeah.
the 80s. This is in the 90s. So
Like, you couldn't stop the man. And you didn't want to. Like, he's gold. Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire, hands down, no question.
I agree. Mrs.
Yeah.
Doubtfire. I don't remember ever seeing Terms of Endearment, though. So I'm surprised. It's a worldwide. These are worldwide numbers, and it's number 2. So there must be something to it. So besides James L. Brooks, obviously.
Right.
But okay, number 1.
Okay.
These are big. I mean, super big. So, number 1 in 1983 was Star Wars: Return of the Jedi.
What? Okay.
And 1993 was Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Shit, man. What?
So it's Spielberg and George Lucas.
How? Oh, this is giving me a stomachache. I don't appreciate
Stop
that.
eating grapes before the podcast, Rohan.
Right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I don't like this.
I know. Wow. So we have the 3rd Star Wars in the original trilogy that wraps it up with Ewoks and another Super Death Star and Super Star Destroyer and Han Solo. And then you have Jurassic Park
Right.
with Velociraptors.
That's so tough. Shoot, man. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. These are both like monumental films. You know, these are huge franchises. And there's a lot of nostalgia that goes into both. I have to go
with Star Wars because I feel like I'm more emotionally engaged in that franchise. Like, I care more about the characters. I care more about the storyline. Not even just in that movie, but like from that movie on, and like from that movie like backwards. You know, like I care about that franchise and that whole, you know, overarching story than I do about Jurassic Park. Love the Jurassic Park movies, but there's just something about the Star Wars franchise that I'm drawn to in a way that I'm not Jurassic Park. Like extra. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jeff Goldblum, like, come on. But I have to go Star Wars.
Let me check something real quick. Yep. Same composer for both, John Williams.
That's
All
bonkers.
right. Yeah. Okay. So we can't argue the music.
Right, yeah.
Geez. It is a timeless classic, Return of the Jedi, but so is Jurassic Park, of course. And they're both getting reboots and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Jurassic Park get a prequel trilogy?
Right. Although Jurassic
Wow.
Park led to Jurassic World,
Yep.
which is pretty epic, but it's still...
Yeah, I have to go with Star Wars Return of the Jedi also.
Yeah.
You're right. It's there's too much goodness that came from that, whereas, you know, I guess, yeah, everything's great about Jurassic Park 2. It's just
Yeah, no, I hear you.
something about a sci-fi action drama that's just
Yeah. It kind of has a little bit of everything.
Jabba the Hutt,
Yeah.
the Rebels, yep.
Right. So I think those are two of the biggest films that we've actually like run into during the decade battle at this point, and the fact that they were against each other is pretty huge.
Yeah.
That's pretty bonkers. So I believe I kept count right. I could have missed one or two. I'm not perfect. But from my tally, 93 won 15-5.
Yeah, I felt it going that way up until the very end here. So,
Yeah.
because that Star Wars one, I mean, that's a huge one. So
Yep.
it's
That
hard
was-
to
yeah.
say that it really lost when it won
Right.
overall, sort of.
Yeah.
So
That was big.
there it is.
So that was a really interesting list. It's to kind of circle back to what we were talking about. It's interesting that, you know, Hocus Pocus is not in the top 10, which hearing some of those movies I can 100% understand.
Yeah.
Even though it is such a big, I think, nostalgic film for a lot of us. And, you know, currently is in the top 2. Although part of that may be because, you know, new movies aren't really coming out right now, but
Yeah.
I do think that there's just a level of so many people love Halloween, man. Like I don't, I hate it, but but I'm in the minority. Like I think a lot of our guests even have, you know, vocalized how much they love it. Like Kendra makes her own costumes, you know,
Right.
like people love Halloween. They love dressing up. They love taking their kids trick-or-treating. They love the parties, you know, all these things that we can't do this year really. But what they can do is watch some Halloween movies. So let's talk about some of our favorite Halloween-esque
Yeah.
films. My list is going to be real small, you guys. It's going to come from like a fifth grade level, and I need negative judgment about that. So,
Yeah.
too bad.
Well, I'll start it off just with some,
I like it.
you know, getting rid of some of those Halloween-y movies, I
Yeah,
suppose. Huh?
the scary movies.
I don't know how that happened other than a movie called Halloween that had a certain butcher knife killer named Michael Myers. Or kitchen knife, yeah.
Wait, what? Kitchen knife? What?
Kitchen knife, yeah. Michael Myers, his weapon of choice is a kitchen knife.
Huh.
So he walks into
I
your
didn't know
home,
that.
grabs your kitchen knife, and kills you with it. So
Oh, jeez.
that's Michael Myers from Halloween, in case you're
Oh
interested.
my god. In case you missed
Yeah.
it.
And don't forget, Friday the 13th, Chainsaw. Also reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So I have a question. Friday the 13th, wasn't that the Halloween movie? Isn't that Michael Myers?
That's Jason.
Oh.
From Freddy and Jason, you know?
Oh, okay.
Freddy
I
versus
get all of
Jason.
these very confused. Like, I'm not sure who is in which of the, I don't know, all of these. Okay, that's good to know. Ignore me. Sorry, continue.
So Halloween and Halloween 2 were technically connected under John Carpenter's films
Okay.
with Jamie Lee Curtis. Played
Mm-hmm.
Laurie, basically Michael Myers' sister. And then you have like Nightmare on Elm Street again, like I was saying, that has Freddy of Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
Did you ever see?
And he's the one with, like, the burned
Yes,
face
he's like
or
the-
something?
I don't know, what was he, a groundskeeper or something, or, janitor of sorts that burned
Mm-hmm.
up and something. I forget what. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the
Okay,
gist of
alright.
it.
Yeah, never seen any of those. I'm for all of these. so
Freddy
far.
versus Jason was epic, because obviously these two together was apart were their own thing. But it was kind of like Alien versus Predator, where it was like these two franchises, we have to see who wins. And of course,
Yeah.
just like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, no one really wins per se. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert, I guess. I'm sorry. But if you haven't seen it, I mean, come on, it's 20 years later.
Exactly.
But I remember going to see that in the theater, Freddy versus Jason, at the Mall of America, and it was packed into the aisles.
Wow.
Yeah, standing room only or sitting room only, whatever. It was a midnight showing too, because this is like when it first came out. We were allowed to
Dang.
have midnight screenings, showings, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was hilarious. Parts were hilarious. Parts were just super cool, just because it's like, if
Yeah.
you're a horror fan, you love this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like It, like chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then Hellraiser, which I think I only saw the first 2 of those.
And who's Hellraiser? Like, what? Who?
It's
What?
complicated. We don't have to get into that.
He's got a really complex backstory.
It's not really who you think it is. Pinhead is.
Okay, so, like, it's not like the Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, like that gang. It's something totally separate.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's like Pinhead is kind of the poster boy for Hellraiser, but he comes. It's complicated. I don't know how to explain it well.
Okay, that's fine.
But
I don't need to. I'm good.
If
Yeah.
you want to think of it in terms of the movies you've seen, it's a little more like Beetlejuice versus I don't know what else
I mean, Beetlejuice is pretty dope.
versus like
Michael
The Shining.
Keaton.
So those two are, but not.
Oh,
But
okay.
Beetlejuice would be very violent and gory in Hellraiser per se. So
Okay.
not
Okay.
Beetlejuice.
Not Beetlejuice. Okay. I did like Beetlejuice. I have seen that.
Yes.
That's a classic right there. Michael Keaton does amazing in that role.
There's
I
so
thought that
many
I heard
people
like
from that film that are
so many.
yeah.
It's unbelievable. Catherine O'Hara?
Yep.
Like what?
Alec Baldwin,
Yeah, Gina Davis. I love it.
Winona Ryder.
Yep. We could just keep going. I thought that I heard a rumor, and it might have actually been a thing that was going to happen, and then it didn't. Maybe it's because of COVID. I have no idea. But I thought I heard a rumor that they were making a new one with like the same bulk cast. This was probably a little while ago. It was probably like a year or so ago. But I heard that it could have been nothing. Like that could have just been somebody said something and I just believed them.
It's on IMDb as Beetlejuice 2 under Tim Burton.
What? Mm-hmm. Okay, see, I think that would be dope.
But its status is unknown, so probably not right now.
Oh. I mean, that's unfortunate.
For now. Who knows?
Yeah. Updated April 2019. Well, even if that was happening, it's not right now.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, I enjoyed that movie. It was like there were creepy aspects to it, but
yes,
you know,
there were.
I'm a wuss, and I was able to handle it, so I felt like that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And you mentioned The Shining too. I feel like we also talked about that or touched on it last week or last episode because it's an adapted screenplay too. But yeah, that movie that'll like mess with your head. Jack Nicholson does an excellent job at just gradually losing his fucking mind.
Right, and it's interesting because it's the unreliable narrator sort of, where it's like, okay, we're along with the ride with this guy, but then it switches to the kid more, and it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
Danny. So,
Danny. Yeah. Did you see segue or tangent, whatever? Did you see the new one that came out with Ewan McGregor? That's like the follow up to this. It was like Dr. Sleep or something.
Yep. Dr. Sleep. Yep, I saw that.
Did you? Was it good?
It was all right. For me, it was all about the payoff with, like, Ewan McGregor's character. For me, I think it was worth watching because it kind of ties in some of the other Stephen King things that were meant to happen for The Shining. Mm-hmm. And kind of like if you've seen, what was it, Dark Tower?
Yeah.
So kind of that aspect, like of The Shining and the towers, that those were supposed to be connected, but because The Shining, the movie, was made a certain way, it's almost like he had to make this to bridge the gap between the movies and the books, and now the movies, I suppose. But it's very interesting that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd say it's worth renting. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Back to the original conversation.
No, that fits in.
It does.
It's Halloween-y, sort of.
It is. Yeah, it's like that's a movie that I didn't see because the trailer freaked me out. Like, I cannot overstate for you guys how much of a child
scary.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it wasn't, but
until you get to the hotel. So
it's fine until this one moment, and then you're gonna just pee your pants. As an adult. Another movie that we actually touched on for like a millisecond earlier. That's another one where it's Halloween-ish, but like it's also kind of lighthearted. It's fun. In a way, it's comedy. Is Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
It's a movie that like you don't think of as necessarily Halloween, but I mean it fits in.
It has ghosts, so
yeah. And there's a series on Netflix where they like take certain big movies from like the past and they talk about like where they came from, how they got made, like the process that the projects went through, like whether it's casting or production stuff. And I don't remember the name of the series, which is very unhelpful.
Is it the movies that made us or something?
Maybe.
Something
that might
like
be it.
That. I don't know.
But Ghostbusters was one of them. And something I didn't know that I learned from that is that so this was like Dan Aykroyd's baby, and he wrote it or like constructed this because his family is actually really into like the paranormal and ghosts and like
Oh yeah.
firmly believes that they're real and like, you know, searches for them and like all these things. And so he basically like wrote this about, you know, from like thoughts from like things from his childhood and like growing up and his family. And that's why he like pushed so hard to get this made. Which is crazy and awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun fact. But yeah, love that movie. Love that, even the second one. Actually,
Yeah.
all of them. Even the one that they just made a couple years ago with the all-female cast. Love it. I know a lot of people didn't. To those people, I say suck it because it's great. And I think it's fantastic. And I'm excited for this new one that's going to come out someday when COVID goes away.
Yeah.
You know, in 30 years.
Right.
I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah. I honestly think they could still make a killing with some of these, but I guess, you know, some budgets are a little too high for, you know, streaming, so or
Right,
pricing,
yeah.
whatever. Let's see. Yeah, Ghostbusters. We talked about that upcoming like films that we're
Yeah.
not able to see. So
Yep.
yet. So
Yet. Keyword.
but I love Ghostbusters. It's Slimer when I was growing up was like I watched the cartoons, the real Ghostbusters. That was my favorite character in
yeah.
that cartoon. Just because he'd always mess with Peter Venkman.
Yeah.
I love in the second Ghostbusters where like Ray owns a bookstore called Ray's Occult. It's a whole bookstore about like all the supernatural books and such, you know, like where probably the Craft got their book from. So
Right.
so that's another movie, The Craft.
I really liked that movie. You know, came out when I was younger, when we were younger. And it was just something really cool. And like at that time, God, I feel like I was a teenager at that point. I think, or at least by the time I saw it. And was like really into it. And I was like, oh, this stuff is so cool. Like the witchcraft and like tarot and like all these cool things. And I was so into it. Loved the cast. And they just made a new one, like a follow-up.
They did.
Yeah, I just watched the trailer the other day, and it's The Craft something. I don't remember the second name of, or the second like part of the name, but
Legacy.
and yeah, and in the trailer it shows a picture of the one girl from the original that like goes crazy. And so it's like it's supposed to like be taken from, like, it's basically 4 girls from that same place who are, you know, doing the same thing, kind of following those footsteps, trying to be careful, but then everything gets out of hand anyway, and it looks good from what I've seen. But yeah, I really liked The Craft. That was my jam for a while.
Yeah, it kind of redefined what a witch was too, in some
Yeah.
ways.
Exactly.
Because back then, as a child at least, you know, it's like the top hat, the broom, you know, the robe.
Yeah.
Very Harry Potter, like, you know.
Yes. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Harry Potter. I love it. I love Harry Potter. I love all of them. I love the films when they weren't that good and they were just children, and I love the films when they were older and like right before it was done and they were epic. I love them all. But yeah, like it's funny. It's a good comparison. Like, you know, the
Or
same
like Hocus Pocus, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, even that. Yeah, like the same context. Like, this is what they are. This is what they can do. 2 totally different takes on it, though.
Yeah.
You know, this is like everyday people, and then this is like the extraordinary and the, you know,
Fantasy, like.
secretive
yeah.
and fantasy. Yeah, which is really neat. I love them all, honestly. Give me all of the powers. Take me to Hogwarts. I'm in.
Pick your wand.
Yes, I'll take an owl. I'll take an owl and just sit on my shoulder. That'll be
All
great.
right.
That would be so dope.
What was that called? Dragon's Alley? What is that called? The
Shit.
Oh.
I can't think of it.
I don't know. I'm gonna think of it as soon as we get off, as we stop. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes, loved Harry Potter. And you know, the mystical fantasy of it all.
I'd love to actually attend like that theme park that has that, you know, Dragon's Alley, whatever it's called, you know.
I would die. Oh my gosh. I would love to go there.
And-
A friend of mine went there a couple years ago
Oh,
and
yeah.
was like, this is awesome. Like he said, it's so cool.
That would be so cool to see. Plus, I suppose it could go into a wand shop there.
I would buy all of the wands. I would come out of there as the biggest dork.
$200 twig.
1000%. Yeah. It's just that like they just picked a stick up off like the street and I'm like, here's $300 and they're like, thank you. So
We sealed it in resin for your.
yes, exactly. When I went to London, we actually went to the train station. We like came in
Oh.
to the station where they have the platform 9 3/4.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the line is gigantically long for people
geez.
to like actually get up to the wall to take a picture right under it. But so we just kind of stood back and I took pictures, but they weren't that good because there's so many people there. But it was just really cool being there and seeing that and being like, this is where they did the shit. Like it was awesome. So yeah, it's good stuff. Nerdy moments. Another film that makes me think of like Halloween. That again is very nostalgic for me. I get it, you guys. This is very like, you know, like 8-year-old little girl movie thing. But was Casper. I loved Casper.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. First of all, I loved Christina Ricci. Like
Yes.
in general, I love all of her films. Like I think she's
That's true.
fantastic as like a child, today, all of the things. And so the fact that she was in it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. And then her dad, I don't even remember his name, but I liked him as an actor.
Oh, right.
And I think, is it Annie McDowell or somebody that plays her mom? And it's like I just really liked the whole cast. And it was just a really cute idea. And I loved the house. And it was so fun. And the idea of like this girl being like best friends with this ghost instead of having it be this scary thing, even though there is scariness surrounding that life, you know, it was just really cool. And it warmed my heart. Yeah, Casper was the shit. So that's my input. You're over there like Friday the 13th, and I'm like Casper.
Well,
Very different.
Obviously, like Hocus Pocus, we can talk about that. I mean, I remember Casper though. Yeah, it was very funny too.
Yeah,
Yeah, Christina Ricci, definitely.
loved her.
Major crush on her.
Right.
But that whole, you know, kind of, I feel like that was similar time to Hocus Pocus, pretty close at least, maybe a few years off.
Yeah, it had to be like right around there.
Yeah. Because I remember the VHS tapes, you know, and that was one of them. We had Casper and I
Yeah.
think Hocus Pocus, yeah.
VHS.
Yeah, those were the 90s.
The 90s. I have a stack of VHSs in my ottoman in the living room.
Oh, no.
I don't have a VCR anymore. I did up
Oh,
until
no.
like 2 years ago. So
Oh, I see. Well, you can pick one up at a pawn shop maybe, or
oh, don't tempt me with a
Somewhere.
good time, because
Yeah.
I will. I absolutely will, and I will watch all of the VHSs, including Dragonheart.
yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
that's off
wow.
topic. Very off topic.
Yeah. There was that horror movie called VHS too. Yeah. There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. What?
The first one was very interesting. It had like several like short films basically tied into it. So each tape was like a short film or something.
Oh, I vaguely
And-
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you watch it, it's kind of like maybe The Ring or Blair Witch, kind of, that type of
Yeah.
weirdness going on with watching it. Mm-hmm. Like You Die or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, The Ring. There's one. Yeah.
Yeah, The Ring. Yeah, so.
Another.
But I remember, I'm sorry, I was going to say, also like Casper, Hocus Pocus was just really funny,
Yeah.
Just like a fun watch,
Yeah.
especially for kids.
And it made you feel okay about Halloween and
yeah. And
adventuring out.
I mean,
so.
who doesn't want Binks as a cat? Like I would love to have Binks as a cat. Let's be BFFs, man. But yeah, it was a good time. Another like witchy. I mean, she's not a witch. I don't even know what technically she is. She's like a fairy or something, but like a weird. Maleficent. Anyway, again, it's more just around the realm of like sci-fi and like, or not even sci-fi, but like fantasy. But I mean, she's she can do all of the things, including fly, which is pretty badass. I really like Angelina Jolie in general. I know a lot of people don't, but that's fine. I appreciate her talents, and I really enjoyed that film. I have not seen the second one, but I want to. Kind of Halloween-y, kind of not, kind of whatever, kind of I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another one that kind of qualifies would be Psycho.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
Not in a supernatural scary way, but more like
Just
a serial killer.
Yeah, more like a thriller kind of scary. I mean, especially for the time that it came out. The idea of like, okay, I'm going to this motel, and the owner's gonna murder me while I'm just taking a shower. Like, that's terrifying. It's terrifying. Yeah, and I feel like movies like that, like Psycho, like opened the door for the thrillers we have today. So thanks a lot, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, that
But yeah.
and like Dawn of the Dead, or what was that? The Romero film,
I don't know.
the zombie one.
Oh.
George A. Romero. Land of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
Black and white film. Took place in like a cemetery, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it was like, now it's like public domain. So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
The beginning of it all.
And then recently, we have Get Out.
Get Out was amazing. That was okay. So words. That movie, I didn't want to see it because it looked like it was going to terrify me. In fact, I didn't see it for a while because of that. And then a friend of mine that I worked with at the time, she was like, I have seen it like 6 times in the past 2 weeks, like in theater. She's like, it is so good. I was like, okay, like I've been hearing it's great. You're saying it's like amazing. I waited until it was out of theaters because I'm a baby. And I think we like rented it, or maybe we bought it. I don't even remember, something. And watched it, and it had to be like middle of the day, lights on, like curtains open, all the things. But fuck, it was so good. It was so good. Jordan Peele is brilliant. Yeah, it's shocking and really smart. Like the way that it's developed.
Oscar nominated too.
Yeah, and it should have been. The acting was phenomenal. The writing just blew me away. I loved the cast. Even to just like the small characters. Like everyone did an incredible job. It was very twisty, keeps you on your toes. It was amazing. Very glad I saw it.
Yeah, I think Get Out adds a nice twist to the whole horror genre of what it's like to be, a person of color and, amongst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
The white society.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, I misspoke. It was Night of the Living Dead,
Oh, there you go.
not Land. I guess he has a credit for Land
Okay.
of the Dead, it said, but Night of the Living Dead was his initial one that kind of kicked off zombies.
Right. Yep.
Because then you have something great from that, like Zombieland.
Which I love. Zombieland is so fun.
So, yeah, and the first one is like almost fits in with now because I think it was a disease that started it, and and we're all staying in, and it's like,
I mean, yeah, why
don't
not?
go out there,
Right? God.
and he's kind of a shut in, and so,
God.
and then by the sun, we're just having a good time at the White House.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, we'll save that discussion for the next one.
That's right. Yeah. We didn't get to every Halloween movie, but there obviously are a lot.
Yes.
Like Goosebumps, the latest
Oh, yeah.
House with the Clock in its walls, 13 Ghosts, Ghost Ship.
Ooh, Ghost Ship, yeah.
What
There's so many. And they range so greatly, from like just the fun, silly comedy, lighthearted. I mean, fucking Charlie Brown has a fucking Halloween movie. Like, you can go easy on it, or you can go to the extreme of like, trying to make someone throw up in the movie theater from terror. Like, there is a wide range. It's a very popular genre. It terrifies me in a way that I can't even begin to explain. But everybody else seems to love it, so yay. Like, give people what they want. Like, make people happy, even if that's once a month, even if that's, them being afraid. That's fine.
But definitely have a safe and happy Halloween this year.
Yeah. Let us know what you're doing. Stay safe. Wear your costumes, even if you're not going somewhere, and tag us in them. Let us see who you are, what you're doing, who you're going to be this year. And we can share it on Instagram and with our awesome community. Because everybody misses each other, and it's just a fun way to connect again.
Yeah, on Instagram, either hashtag Film in Minnesota or at Film in Minnesota. Either one works. So that we can check that out.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for Film in Minnesota, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.